I went into the season not wanting to believe, but I'm ready to clap my hands. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Philly Sports Now, a Philly fan podcast. My name is Zach. With me is Andrew, and I'm back to talk all things Philly sports. Now, the Sixers have gone and absolutely dominated over the Brooklyn Nets last night in a massive victory with Kelly Oubre's biggest game of the season so far. We have the Sixers at 5-1, of course, very early on, but love to see it. And like I said at the intro, we came into the season not fully I came into the season not fully wanting to believe, not very excited, not very sure what to feel about the Sixers. Didn't want to fall for it is the best way to put it. And here we are, and god damn does it feel to be back. It feels good to be back. I have been clapping my hands. I have been getting very excited about the Sixers team, and it's a lot of things happening, but I think at the end of the day, it's nice to be right, which is I said in our preseason episode that in order for the Sixers to really get not just get going this year, not just be good, but to be exciting and entertaining, the young blood had to step up. And that is definitely what we're seeing in the first 6 games so far. It's been nothing but good, it's been nothing but growth, and yeah, like I said, it's good to be a Sixers fan right this second, and I'm gonna ride that as long as we can. Like I said, we came off of a win against the Brooklyn Nets last night. This puts the Sixers as the only winning team in the Atlantic. So, off that, Andrew, how do you feel about the Sixers right now?
Feels pretty good. I mean, this young energy has really fixed the fan base. I mean, I think, you talked about it coming into the year. You needed to kind of turn the keys over, and I think the fan base believed that. I mean, I think we are kind of tired of the same old stuff. And, last year you had a GM and Daryl Morey who kind of bought into all the old veteran players, and obviously it backfired with all the injuries that happened. And, when one guy went down, you weren't able to sustain the success. And this year instead, you know, you can already tell. You can already see the energy VJ Edgecombe's bringing to the starting lineup. You can already tell Maxey and the energy I mean, think about it. Maxey was like the key guy last year, and he got off to that slow start, and you could tell the work he's put in the offseason. He knew he had to step up, and he's already coming out of here quick, and just going out there and doing things that is unheard of, doing the things that it's the first time in a while, and especially in Sixers guard style, like since Allen Iverson days. So you just see that young energy, and you see guys like Quentin Grimes as well coming off the bench, buying into it. You mentioned Kelly Oubre coming off probably his best game as a Sixer.
You saying ever?
Yeah, at best game as a Sixer. I know it's only been this is his third year, I think, but
I thought it was the
um,
second.
but he goes out and puts 22 up in the first quarter against Brooklyn, and then due to his injury, which luckily isn't serious, it was just because you were beating him by so much, you didn't put him back in the game.
Sure.
But he would have had 30 points easy last night, and it's been fun, and it's everything you could ask for from a fan base because this you needed to see something different to start the year, and without question, we're seeing something different. And Nick Nurse promised that coming into the year, like he admitted to it, like we lost games because we didn't have the energy. It was, oh, here's the same old thing. And he promised it to the fan base. And you're seeing it early on. Now, obviously, it's a long season and you have to maintain that for a full 82 games. You're only 6 games in. But through these 6 games in, I think they've got the fan base back.
Now, you bring up Nick Nurse, not ready to quite go into that yet, so I'm going to take a step back here real quick. Talking about the games that we've played here, I guess we can get into it, but the games, like I said, 5-1, obviously a winning season so far. I did want to start with a kind of softball question to Andrew as our local NBA guy here. How much season in the NBA do you give for a real preseason? And my meaning of that is, with the NFL, we say, oh, weeks 2 to 3 is really preseason. They're still adjusting, they're growing, they're learning. How many games NBA wise do you think is kind of that way? How realistically are you looking at 5-1?
I think it's early for that to be like, oh, automatic finals contenders or something like that. But I always say Christmas. I don't know the exact game total that brings, but I think around Christmas is the solid point because you're not only obviously turning into a new calendar year, but you're turning it over to, that next stretch. Then you go from, that New Year Day to the trade deadline in February / the All-Star break in February. And then you take off that last stretch of the season from that trade deadline to the playoffs. Then I think this first.
If I make quick clarification here for your current to Christmas setting, though, you're saying it's not that from now to Christmas is preseason. What you're saying is by Christmas we have a good idea of what these teams are pre-deadline.
Correct. I think, yeah, I guess you're going into the preseason fixing mistakes stuff. I'd say the end of November.
Okay,
Uh,
okay, that's yeah, that makes sense.
I think that's a fair. I mean, we're 6 games in now, so you figure you get another 3 games this week. I'd say actually mid-November. Let's go Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's late this year. No,
True.
we'll go that Thanksgiving week, I guess, is a good spot.
So, all this being said, we are going to evaluate these 6 games, but it is kind of taken with a grain of salt at this point, right? Like, we do understand most teams are getting their bearings. However, I just think there's something to be said in having the only winning record right now. I'm not saying that it means they are going to be the only winning record in the Atlantic, but I think it says that they're taking it seriously right out of the gate.
Oh, 100%. I think they knew they had to. I think after last year and you know fans didn't have to show up to start the year after what happened last year, but and Nick Nurse knew it. He made that promise to the fan base. Like we're going to come out with different energy. We're not going to let games get away because of energy. If we're going to lose games, we're at least going to put out the entire effort. And he made that promise to the fan base. And 6 games in, it's standing true. And this team and organization knew it. And I think Daryl Morey even knew it at the end of last year. He told the fans like. I went with the old veterans this year and it backfired with injuries. He's going to get younger and he got a lot younger this year and you're seeing it early on with Quentin Grimes. And the best part of it all is you're not even healthy right now and we're this excited. Like a guy that was in rookie of the year contention last year who got hurt hasn't even played yet this year and he should be back here the next week or two. So you're only going to get younger and continue to grow in the backcourt. I think that's been the most exciting part about this team is the backcourt guys.
So I guess going off of what you were saying, I don't believe I threw this at you just yet, so I'm going to double down on it. But going off of the mentality coming out of the gate, Nick Nurse getting the guys saying they need to win, saying he understands the fans' mentality, all that stuff. How do you feel about the sustainability of the winning games they're doing, of the way they're winning games?
Yeah, I think it's sustainable because of the energy. I think it's you have that new young group in and you look at a lot of these guys and I think they were missing that last year and it was so centered on is Embiid going to be out there tonight? Is Embiid going to play 20 minutes tonight? Is he going to play 40 minutes tonight? Is he going to play 2 games this week? Is he going to play 0 games this week? Is he going to play at all this month? And I think this year is different. You came in with a plan, and you're sticking to the plan. And to your point earlier, and coming into the year and earlier the show, it's clear that they're not like, okay, here's the keys. This is Embiid's team. We're centering this around him. It's no, we're centering it around the guards on the team. We're centering it around Tyrese Maxey. It's his team now. And Embiid's going to be that role player. They're going to build his strength back up. And then hopefully it takes off in the second half of the season with him getting back to his regular minutes and everything. So I think it is sustainable because of the way you have clearly turned the page. I'm not sitting here like, oh, this is the same Sixers team as the last 3 years. I'm sitting here like, okay, this looks new, this looks fresh, and it's going to continue to grow and get that way.
I think one of the biggest questions, I guess, about the team, even though you have faith in the growing curve of this team and in their production, I think one of my biggest sustainability questions is, I would say, their weakest spot right now is the third quarter, which I think that comes down to adjustments and how Nick Nurse's coaching or his pull of the bench is going. If my calculations are correct, we were minus 47 in the third quarters before, and as of yesterday, that would put us at minus 53 in third quarters.
Yeah, it's That's been the weird part. To your point, is you get off to these fast starts and you keep winning the early parts of the game, and then for some reason in the third quarter it's been bad. I mean, there's no other way to put it, and it's put you. It's not like you're winning the first half by 20 points and you're giving yourself breathing room outside the Nets game, but you're going into these half times under 10-point leads, and then you're losing that second quarter bad, or sorry, third quarter badly, and it's turning into catch up basketball in the fourth quarter, which so far has gone well. And it's funny, the one game you didn't win the third quarter was the Celtics game on Halloween, and that's the one game you lost. So maybe that's Nurse's strategy. Is give them the third quarter, we'll win the other three. But no, all seriousness, I in that sense, yeah, I think you have to be better in the third quarter. You can't. I mean, you've obviously survived games against the Wizards and the Nets, and those two, being bottom of the barrel in the NBA. But you go up against some of the better teams, like a Celtics team, where you're coming up to this week. You have two big games in the Bulls and Cavaliers. Like you can't afford to lose those third quarters each game. You're gonna have to fix that part of it. And yeah, it's weird because you could see how prepared they are going into the game. And that's why they're getting off to such good starts. And then for some reason, he's just getting out coached at halftime, and the adjustments the other teams are making, it's weird because it's taken him like a full quarter to finally realize or make those adjustments. It's not even like, they're coming out on a 8-0 run the first three minutes of the quarter and then you're playing even the rest of the way. It's just been a weird setting, and I don't think that's going to sustain the third. Like I don't think that's going to stay throughout the season. I think eventually you'll figure out and ways to adjust to that part. But it's been a weird start in terms of that this year.
Right. And, I would say that you kind of hinted at it, but he's at least adjusting into the fourth quarter, right? Otherwise, you're not
Yeah.
winning games, right? And I think that's an important thing to follow is that he's not simply just rolling over in halftime game of the games, he's not letting them lose these easier games, I will say. I don't know. It's hard again being such an early thing, but it's exciting watching them learn and move forward. I will say another Nick Nurse thing. I believe this is a Nick Nurse decision, but maybe it's his decision or the team as a whole. But the decision for Embiid to not rest as much game to game, but instead having a minutes restriction, which seems to be working well. He's missed two of the six games so far, so he's played in four. And of those games, he's had over 20 points in every game except for the first. And in those games, he's putting in an average of about 20 to 24 minutes. So with that strategy, he's playing a solid 20 minutes and then he's scoring a point a minute. Like, it's a pretty interesting, exciting way to use Embiid. And again, you're not focusing around him.
Hey, you could see that too clearly with outside the Celtics game, out of the four games he's played, I don't think he's been on the court in the final 4 minutes. So like that shows you they're turning the keys. Is they're sticking to this minute restriction. Once he hits that started at 20, I think it's up to like 22, 23 now, like you said. So once he hits that mark, he's done. Like it's not like, oh, there's only 30 seconds left in the game. Let's get him out there. No, they've been sticking to it. And that's why I truly believe too, it's kind of turned the page is you've actually learned how to play basketball without Joel Embiid. That's another issue the last 3 years. It's Embiid's out of the game. You're minus whatever 10 without Embiid, and we talked about that in the playoffs all the time. Why we never could survive in playoff games is because when Embiid did take a break, you lost so much momentum in the game. Where now you're winning, and that's a lot of credit to Dembona, the backup center. He just comes in. His defense has been unreal to start the year, and he's figuring out ways to help this team. And he had the big putback dunk to win the game against the Wizards. So these guys are stepping up as a whole too, and that's credit to Moria for finding him late in the draft because he wasn't an early first round pick. He was later in the draft, and that's where Moria gets credit for that stuff. Is he's as much as we've not been as enthusiastic with some of the free agents he's signed, he's aced the draft here the last few years, and it's really gone a long way. And I mean, going forward with that too is like that's where this Embiid plan is so big and sticking true to it is because again, you now know when he's going to be on the floor. It's not, oh, is he going to play tonight? Is he going to play 2 games down the road? It's okay. We know he's in this game. He's not playing back to backs, and he's playing one of the two, but he's not going to play both games on a back to back, and that's where he missed the one game this year. And again, he's getting 20 to 22 minutes. You know that he's going to start, and he's going to be managed throughout the game. So these guys can actually settle into roles that they want to. These settle into roles that they know they need to because they know when their time's going to come. and without Embiid.
Speaking of without Embiid, I would say we go on to a different star, a newer star, a younger star, the person that I think pretty much had Andrew's hype going into this season, and that is VJ Edgecombe. And I mean, he's been, I don't know, I was gonna say nothing short of phenomenal, but maybe I don't want to give him that much credit yet in 6 games. But I will say his NBA debut has been phenomenal. I mean, to go from college to NBA and perform the way he's performing is definitely something that I commend in a big way. You know, it's not unheard of for a rookie to need some time to adjust. And instead, what's happening here is he adjusted in the offseason. In literally his summer months, he didn't, I don't know, maybe he partied it up, but like he was able to do both, if so. No, but like he truly Edgecombe went and he adjusted in a way of his 3-point shooting improvement is the big thing I was going to say here. Major upgrade since his last college season going into this NBA season. And that just shows the work he put in this summer. I mean, again, it's always fun to throw Andrew these softball questions, but Andrew, why don't you tell us how excited you are about VJ Edgecombe?
Yeah, I was really excited when they drafted him. And again, I think, you joked about, which jersey do you get coming into the year? I remember saying to you, that's the one you get because of how much energy he was going to bring to the team. And I mean, he was not the best shooter in college, but he comes out and again, it's 6 games, obviously, but he's shooting 42% from three. And that shows you the work he put in the offseason to get that because he realized, you know what, Max is going to be the ball handler. You have Embiid down low. He's going to get a lot of open shots and a lot of chances and he knew he had to be ready. And credit to him. And before the year started, you knew the work he put in just because he earned a starting spot right on the team. I mean,
Yeah,
he
I
didn't have to
mean,
start
that's
like,
crazy. That's
and that's
crazy.
Nick Nurse recognized what the work he put in and gave it to him. And he comes in averaging 20 points a game, 5 assists and 5 rebounds as a rookie, and that shows you everything he brings to the team. It's not like he's averaging 20 points, 1 assist, and 1 rebound, right? And he's just sitting there taking threes, open threes. He's realizing, okay, when Maxi's not in and other times, I'm going to be the ball handler. So he's still getting 5 assists. And then the 5 rebounds as a guard just shows you how athletic he is and creating opportunities that way too. So he's not afraid to attack the glass. And yeah, I mean, with how athletic he is, it's just unreal. Some of the dunks he's had already, and I mean, that's I think what he brings to this team the most, almost, is how athletic he is, and he can shoot right now, or he can get to the rim, and at any time he wants, he can drive by somebody and find a way to get an easy basket, and his ability to attack and get to the line too. So, yeah, I mean, that's what's amazed me the most is he hasn't settled with one thing in his game. He's literally doing it all at once.
So I guess last thing I want to say before we kind of wrap things up here, but what are some of the bigger improvements you want to see done by, I'll say, Maxi and Edgecombe?
By those two alone.
Well, I mean, yeah, as the stars of the team right now, that's kind of where I'm going with this.
I mean, outside coaching, I guess, part of that third quarter start has to be on some of the starters. Like you have to bring the energy, you have to get the team ready, like, and you recognize that early on. Like, you have to find that spark plug and what gets your team going in the third quarter. And as a team, I mean, as especially Maxi, because he's the ball handler, so he's the one running the offense. He's the one running the team there to start the quarter. So I need that. And I think they've been a little lackluster on the defensive end. I think, you're giving up a lot of points. Even that Nets game, I know it kind of settled in, but the end of the first quarter was 40-37. You have 37 points in that first quarter. I think you got to find a way to spark the defense a little bit early on. And part of it's playing fast, but I think overall is you're getting beat a little bit there at the top of the key.
And I guess actually last thing, does Paul George have any, does he matter this year?
Yes, he does. I know that's the big thing on social media, but I think for what I just said is that defense, yes, he might not be that 26 point a game scorer anymore, but he doesn't have to be because of the team you've put around him. He's going to add a lot of value on the defensive end of the floor, and that's what you lack most right now. So I'm actually more excited to see him add to this defense than I am the offense, which, when we first signed him, I would not have said that because we needed the scoring, but you've created that, and I fully expect him to be back in the starting lineup. And again, hopefully that helps with those 30-point quarters you're giving up right now.
Anything else, Andrew, before we wrap up this week for the Sixers?
It's just it's fun to have fun Sixers back. basketball back because I missed it last year. Like it was not. I don't think at one point was it really that fun last year. Like because we started like 0 for a while, and then the whole Embiid stuff happened, and he gets one game in and then gets suspended. So like there was no fun in last year's season. So it's good to have Sixers basketball back.
It does feel like nothing like last year, which I think is a good summary of this episode. Is just not what I expected. I think it's not what a lot of people expected. I think a lot of people expected, you know, relatively. I'm not going to say reasonably because they never should have got to the place they were in last year, like digging the hole that they dug, but they did, and it's hard to get out of that hole. And to see them be out of it already, I like I'm not sitting here calling them, you said it earlier, I'm not sitting here calling them a finals contender, but to even have fun with the Sixers this year is a shock. And for that I commend them.
Yeah, no, exactly. And we haven't even had hip hop back yet. That's still to come.
That's good. We haven't even had the highlight of the year. All right. Thank you everyone for listening to Philly Sports Now, a Philly fan podcast. You can find our social media links are just in the description below. I've been having trouble with that lately. Again, I think the Sixers team is fun. It's been fun to watch. If I think I've watched 3 games, and that's two more than last year. Like we're back. We're back. So thank you everyone for listening. And as always, play the song. Good night.